This is a bit of a random video, but I don't see anyone else talking about it. Next gen could apparently have 7, 8, or even 9 console competitors. These competitors would be Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, the big three that we've had for a while. But the new ones could be Atari, Intellivision, Slightly Mad Studios, Google, Amazon, and Valve. Now, some of these competitors are confirmed already. Others are mainly just rumors. Some of them want to directly compete, others want to side compete. Side compete means that they're basically in the same market, but they're not directly competing. Think of like a truck and an SUV, The new confirmed ones are Atari, Intellivision, and Slightly Mad Studios, all confirming that they are working on a console. The others are just rumors. Valve has said that they are not done with SteamOS, so this could easily signify that they want to try again with the Steam machine. For Google and Amazon, they are both rumors. Google reportedly is making one called the Yeti. It is a streaming-based console. Not much more is known than that. The Amazon console is basically the least confirmed of the bunch. Like, there was a rumor a while back, and that's it. Now, we haven't seen this many competitors since really the 5th generation in the 90s. And we're kind of in a similar situation, where 3 companies basically have the entire share of the console market. Each of these systems had some type of upgrade later in its life, the Genesis being the most obvious one, having many different upgrades. And, the TurboGrafx-16 eventually had a add-on CD player, and then NEC eventually released a more powerful version of the TurboGrafx-16 with the CD player as one console, and it was slightly more powerful. So this is kind of similar to what's happening now with the PS4 Pro and Xbox One, and you can kind of consider the Switch a more powerful Wii U. So after the 4th generation was obviously the 5th generation, and this saw many, many competitors trying to get a share of that market. We had old competitors come back and new ones enter the fray. Fujitsu really started off the 5th generation with the FN Towns Marty, and you had the 3DO company with the 3DO, Commodore with the Amiga 32 CD, Apple with the Pippin. Atari came back with the Jaguar, telling people to do math. NEC tried again with the PCFX, Sega had the Saturn, Sony had the PlayStation, Nintendo had the Nintendo 64. The 5th gen was a very interesting time, and it seems that the 9th gen is going to be a repeat of the 5th, at least in some way. So let's talk about each of these competitors, or what we know about them so far. The easiest to talk about is Atari, as we know a lot about their new system, the VCS. It's a hybrid console/PC, sort of in the vein of a Steam machine, but different. It's not a powerhouse console. It runs a custom OS based on the Ubuntu Linux, and it will have its own storefront. It uses custom AMD R7 graphics and Bristol Ridge processor. It will have 8 GB of RAM. The Indiegogo pre-order page says it has 4 GB of RAM, but it was confirmed by Rob Wyatt that they have upgraded this system to 8. If you don't know who Rob Wyatt is, he was one of the designers on the original Xbox, as well as a designer on the PS3. He said that this system will actually have full use of the 8 GB of RAM. Now, if you don't know, I'll give an example. The Xbox One has 8 GB of RAM. However, it can only use 5 of that 8 because 3 is dedicated to the operating system. I mean, there are some interesting features with the VCS. Like, you can use any controller you want. You can use an Xbox controller, an Xbox One, Xbox 360, original Xbox. You can use a PlayStation 3 controller, Nintendo 64 controller if you wanted, a Sega Dreamcast controller, or even the glove from the PS1. It will also come preloaded with tons of 2600 and 5200 games. I'm hoping we get to see 7800 and Jaguar games. You can also sign up to create your own games on the VCS and sell them on the storefront. So, for all you homebrew guys and gals, this might be the console that you're interested in. So on to the next console, and it's a bit of a weird one, the Intellivision. Intellivision is probably the strangest console of the ones coming out, as it will only do 2D, so no Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or stuff like that. Now, there can be some truly amazing 2D games like Cuphead, Sundered, and Hideo Kojima actually created a really, really cool 2D game a long time ago called Police Knots. Really, really cool game. You should check it out or watch an LP of it. Tommy Tallarico, the head of Intellivision, at least I believe he's the head of Intellivision, said that there will be no bad games on this system. Every game must at least be a 7 out of 10, which is a very strange thing to promise, as I don't think anybody else has said that about their console. So another strange thing about the new Intellivision console is the controllers. They're modern adaptations of the original Mattel Intellivision controllers. You know, the ones that look like a strange phone. So the Intellivision has to be one of the strangest consoles since, like, the Evo Smart console that never came out. So the third new competitor that's confirmed, and the one that we kind of know the least about, is the MadBox by Slightly Mad Studios. Slightly Mad Studios is a game developer that makes racing games, like Project Cars and Need for Speed Shift, stuff like that. This console, unlike the other two, is confirmed to be a powerhouse. It's supposed to be more powerful, or at least on the same power level as a PS5 and Xbox, and we're not actually sure how it's going to look. They've released some pre-rendered images of how they think it's going to look, and it looks really weird. It's also supposed to support VR and 4K 60 FPS, so you also get a free game engine to make games on with it. For the unconfirmed rumor consoles, we have Valve, Google, and Amazon. Valve is going to be the closest thing to a real thing coming out, because they said they're not done with SteamOS, so they could easily do another Steam Machine attempt. Steam Machines were not a success because they were way too confusing. You had 14 different companies making 3 to 4 models each manufacturer and model with different specs and price points. You had, I think the lowest was like $400 and the highest was up to $5,000. Then the second worst thing about the Steam Machine was that the storefront was just Steam. Like, not a custom Steam. No, it was just Steam, and it would bring you to the regular store. What it would show and let you buy games that wouldn't run on your system. It would show you Windows and Mac games, but you couldn't run them. So what was the point in having them there? You know, what I would have done, I would just had Alienware make probably 2 models, like a 720p, a model that can handle 720p gaming, and a model that can handle 1080p gaming. Maybe later down the line, make a beefed up model that can handle like 1440 or 4K, something like that. So for the Amazon and Google ones, we really know very little to nothing about them. Google's one is codenamed Yeti and is a streaming console. That's all we know about it. And the Amazon one we know nothing about. But if you made it this far into the video, tell me what console you're interested in. Are you just going to be sticking to the big 3, or are you going to take a chance on one of the new consoles? So I think we can all agree that next gen is probably going to be one of the most interesting generations in a long time. Alright, that's it. Bye.